this is Bernie from Stampin'Up, and welcome back to another session in my craft room. And I am super excited to have you back together with me. And today I'm going to show you how to make this very cute card. I'm not usually one that makes masculine cards, although I do have five males in my life. My husband, our twin boys, and I have two grandsons. But I thought this card would be an amazing, it could be a Father's Day card, it could be a wedding anniversary card, it could be a whatever card. And the inspiration for this has come from my team leader, Jackie Williams. I was on a demonstrator event this past weekend and we made a card similar. I'll show that to you at the end. But I decided to change the color profile up a little bit and I decided to use a completely different stamp set. So for the stamp set, let me show you what I used. Of course, you can use anything in your stash, but I decided to feature He's All That, and I used that stamp set. You could always use any of these other ones. There's also a gorgeous vintage car. And then I used the dies that went with this stamp set. And it's really a versatile stamp set bundle to be using if you've got a blog that enjoys simple designs. So that's what we're going to use. And for the color scheme, we've got boho blue, I've got balmy blue, and parakeet party, which I thought made up some really lovely, fresh, vibrant colors. This involves a little bit of stamping blends, but you can of course use your ink pad and blender pens, or you can use write markers, but I had decided to use my alcohol ink pens for this, for a change. So shall we get started? You'll also need, before we do, you're going to need some embossing folders, and I used 3 different designs, and I'll run through those with you. Perhaps I'll do that now. I used the new quatrefoil one for the big design on the top right. Then I used, from the stripes and splatters, I used the stripes, which looks like that. And I actually decided to do this one and this one. And then for this embossing folder, I used Into the Clouds. To be honest, I didn't really like it. So I thought, well, I have it in my stash. I need to use it. So that's what I decided to do with it. Okay, let's get started. Basic white cardstock, my usual 5.5 by 8 1/4, scored at 4 1/8. This is a landscape card that we're making today. So you'll need I chose to use a boho blue matte, and I have the measurements, but I don't have them in front of me, so they should be on your screen right now. And then you have a white matte over here. And it's the white matte that we are going to first build up with the pieces of cardstock. So you can place them in whatever layout you like. You could put them here if you wanted, and let's see if that would work. Potentially you could do it like that if you wanted, but I'm going to stick with the design that I've already done, and that's to put them in this layout. And I'll have all the dimensions for you, just making sure I've got them all right. I'll have all the dimensions for you, should pop up on the screen. All right, let's start with the big one. Let's emboss that, and I'm going to repeat the same card. So I'm going to lie it in my quatrefoil embossing folder. It is not a 3D folder, so you're going to need your plate 1. It also doesn't fit into the mini. embossing folders, so you will need plates 3 and 3. I just want to get mine. And what I have in my craft room is I've actually have a designated embossing top and bottom so that they don't get damaged like you would when you use your die cutting. So plate 1, plate 3, embossing folder with the hinge going towards the machine, plate 3 on top, and we're just going to roll that through. Oops, always makes such a noise when it does that. Alright, that's our first piece done. Now we're going to emboss the blue pieces next, which are the balmy blue. And I just want to get my folder. This is a 3D, so you'll just need plates 1 and 4 for that. And I'm going to place them in the same direction, even though they are going to face different. All right, I'm just popping them down like that, getting that in the camera for you. So on plate 1 folder, and plate 4 goes on top. And then the last one is not a 3D. So I'll just set those to the side. So we will need plates 3 and 3 again. And that is in Parakeet Party. And I'm going to use the Into the Clouds for that. And I'm just going to place it over the cloud. Like so. Hinge in, plate 3 on top. So it's 1, 3, and 3. Alright, so we'll use the die machine in a little while to cut out our circle, but for now we have done all of the embossing. So I'll just set that all to the side. Okay, get my silicone craft sheet and we can assemble this. What I'm going to do is I am actually going to bring my I'm trying to figure out, I want to line up these things straight so that it doesn't bother me. I'm wondering if I use my grid paper or not, but I'll see how we go. Okay. Also just looking and making sure. It looks like it's a lot. Just trim off a little bit of this extra one. It's just looking a little bit wider. So if you find that you prefer yours a little bit narrower, by all means trim it off. So glue. Let's glue this on. Cool. And we'll put this piece on. Okay, and now I'm going to line up this Parakeet Party in line with that end, and hopefully I've done my calculations correct. That looks about right. Okay, looking good. This is a really quick card to put together. It shouldn't take you too long. Okay, now what we need to do is we just need to stamp the sentiment, the little together for the long haul. And I'm just going to use my Memento Black, and as I've mentioned before, I like to do mine upside down just so that I can see where I'm going with that. Just holding it down nice and firmly. Lovely. And I'm going to use my blends now to color this in. And it doesn't matter that that's stamped skew because we're going to die cut it. So I've got light boho blue. And I'm just going to come in here and go around the windows. As you can see, I'm leaving some white space around there. I'm now coming in with my parakeet party, again in light, and I'm just getting the surfboard done, and I'm also coloring in that little circle around the wording. Okay. And now I just want to take my dark grey granite and I just want to create an outline for my windows and my little combi, the hubcaps. I'm just colouring in those tires. And I'm using the light pool party to colour in the windows to make them look like glass. And now I'm using the dark boho blue and I'm just doing a little bit of shading. Here and there. And coming back in with the light boho and just pushing that through. I don't know if you can hear the pen pushing it through. Okay, and seriously, that will settle while we're die cutting it, and that's the sum total of doing that. So now I'm just going to bring my cut and emboss machine back. I've got plate 1, plate 2, plate 3, and I'm going to pop this on the top and get the matching die for it, which fits about like that. You can put some washi tape on it if you want, and I'm just going to run that through. Remove that. Okay, and there we have our little combi. And now I'm going to pop that, because I didn't like how those all came together there where I trimmed it. I'm actually going to cover that, and I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Take off the release paper. So I'm eyeballing that I want to cover that seam that didn't look that great. I want to cover that seam, and I'm going to put it about there. And now I'm going to glue this onto my boho blue mat. And then that will go onto my card base. And of course, inside you can put your liner and your white matte, your matte and your white liner. And if you want, you can put bling there if you'd like, but I'm going to leave it. It's pretty simple. So there you have a very, very quick card. And let me just show you what we did on Saturday. That was the inspiration. So this is using Lost Lagoon, and I think that's Coastal Cabana. So we used more greens, a different layout, but it was a similar concept that I just used as my inspiration. So I hope that you will give that technique a go. It's a fantastic technique to use for scraps and to make both a male and a female card for those that you need a card in a quick minute. So thank you so much for crafting with me, and I really appreciate your support, and please feel free to click the like button, the subscribe button if you haven't already done that, and don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletters for more crafting inspiration, tips and techniques, and other ideas that I share exclusively with my newsletter subscribers. So, until we meet again, remember to stamp, eat, sleep, repeat. Bye!